What's up, YouTube? Lord Ryujin here. So, I've been thinking lately, and an idea kind of came to me regarding the next Legend of Zelda. Now, I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan, and I've been trying to hold off on talking about it, because I can go on and on and on. I mean, I can probably make 4 to 5 videos straight. So, there will be a Legend of Zelda month coming up, probably when we know more about the next Legend of Zelda, whether it's a Wii U or 3DS title, whatever. But in the meantime, I started thinking, because there's something that always kind of I thought was interesting about Nintendo, in that the past couple of Legend of Zelda games have really taken some of the smaller features and made things required. Like, for an example, Ocarina of Time really sort of made it to where the Rumble Pack was required. Not a lot of games I think were really using it around this time. At least none that I can remember any, at least using it heavily, except for Star Fox. So when Ocarina of Time comes out, that game sort of really showed the example of what the Rumble Pack can do. And then when Majora's Mask came out, it required the expansion pack, which was again something that not a lot of games were really using to its full advantage. And when the GameCube came out, when not Twilight Princess, but when the Wind Waker came out, it used a little feature that the GameCube had that not a lot of games were really using that well. And that was the whole Game Boy Advance to the GameCube connectivity. I mean, you saw it in Animal Crossing, you saw it in like the Sonic Adventure ports that came over, but not a whole lot of games were using it too much. And then, of course, with the Wii, after they came out with Wii Motion Plus, Skyward Sword required it. Not a lot of games on the Wii really required, Wii Motion Plus. So it's nice that they did that. And then I got to thinking, what is something that the 3DS has? What is something that the 3DS has that they could really use for the next Zelda that comes out for the Nintendo 3DS, that they could make it required for? And of course your answer is this thing, the Circle Pad Pro. I took it off my 3DS for a moment to show you. The Circle Pad Pro needs to be required for the next Legend of Zelda. The reason why, and hear me out on this, is because of the similarities that it has back to the Wii U. I mean, it has the ZL and ZR, it has L and R, it has, because of this, an extra circle pad, so now there's technically 2 analogs, A, B, X, Y, D-pad, touchscreen, everything that the next Legend of Zelda that comes out for the Wii U would have. So because of that, I think that they could sort of build a similar engine, and I'm going to go over this later in another video, but I really like the idea of incorporating, interconnectivity between the 3DS and the Wii U. I would love to see maybe items transfer back and forth between the 3DS and the Wii U Zeldas. I would love the idea of maybe a continued adventure, something like what the Oracle games did. But not on the same system. Maybe have it to where, even though they're 2 separate games, the one on the 3DS and the one on the Wii U, they're 2 completely separate games, somehow if you have both and you connect them, maybe it gives you a password or something that gives you a secret hidden boss or a special dungeon or something. I would love to see something like that. But it would also, I think, set up for control schemes. I mean, if you set up the next Legend of Zelda that comes out for the 3DS, if you set that up to use the Circle Pad Pro, I think it's going to set the standards for what to expect from the next Legend of Zelda. But what I think I'm getting at really more so with this is that Nintendo knows how to use the accessories that come out for their consoles. As I said before, they used the expansion pack for Majora's Mask. They made it required. And they used the GBA link for the Game Boy Advance on Wind Waker. That wasn't really required, but it did add some extra functionality to the game, and they made the Wii Motion Plus required for Skyward Sword. So, rather than having to think, well, we have to use touchscreen controls, no, you don't. You can use the left thumbstick for moving, and you can use the right circle pad, thumbstick, whatever you want to call it, for controlling the sword, similar to how it does with Skyward Sword. And then you can use a lot of, motion-based stuff in it, like if you're holding the arrows, you can move the 3DS around and look. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can put your items to be the D-pad, and you can just have quick access stuff, or you can even have it on the screen. And I think it also just helped for future Zelda games. I have this theory that I'm going to go over in another video about why I think this. That I think Nintendo's going to start getting away from touchscreen controls. And again, I'm going to go over that later. And if they do this, the CirclePad Pro would be a good way to sort of start, moving away from that. And then if they come out with 4DS or whatever the next generation Nintendo is, and it doesn't have touchscreens in it, then that would make it easier for certain games. And even if you decide to have interconnectivity between the two Zeldas, then again, the fact that the CirclePad Pro is required uses a lot of the similar Wii U functionality. So, very helpful there. But make sure that you, of course, comment with what you think about this, because I think it's a good idea. And, the CirclePad Pro showed a lot, but it's not really useful. And I say that with a grain of salt. It is a very useful accessory. I've talked about it many times in other videos that you're welcome to go check out. But it's not really, a required thing yet. You could play Kid Icarus Uprising with it or without it. You can play Resident Evil Revelations with it or without it. It's kind of like the expansion pack. You can play a lot of games with the expansion pack and without it. But Majora's Mask really made the expansion pack shine and make it a useful thing, And so that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the big title that uses the CirclePad Pro as a required thing. Now, more likely they're never going to do this, and I'm wasting my time even talking about this on this video, because of the accessibility of the 3DS. They want people to just be able to pick it up and play it. But at the same time, they didn't mind making it to you had to get an expansion pack, or you had to get a Wii Remote Plus or a Wii Motion Plus accessory to play Skyward Sword. You didn't really make that game accessible to the audience. If somebody just went up and picked Skyward Sword, not realizing, I don't know how since it says it right on the box, but without realizing that it needed to use, Wii Motion Plus, that they would then go home and they can't play it, and now you've infuriated them. So, but this would also be a great opportunity. They could come out with bundles that include the CirclePad Pro and the next Legend of Zelda that comes out for the Nintendo 3DS. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities. And really, it just gives more button options. You're talking about using L and R and ZR and ZL, and you got the right circle pad. You have up, down, left, right. You have A, B, X, Y, plus a touch screen, plus gyroscope. There's just all kinds of great opportunities with that. More likely it's not going to happen though, simply because I said again that you can just use L and R. You have the face buttons, which can easily, B can be the sword, and you can have Y, X, and A be the different items, or the D-pad can hold the different items, and the touchscreen can be the menu navigation. I mean, there really is no need for the additional circle pad and the buttons, but I really think that they need to think outside of the box for this. I mean, if you make it to where sword play is done with the right circle pad, for an example, where pressing down makes the sword swing down, pressing up makes the sword swing up, and left and right and all this stuff, I think that would be some really cool stuff. And and then you can also use aiming with that. Just holding down ZR and aiming your bow, or if you wanted to, using the gyroscope, really adds a lot of opportunities. But that's just my opinion, of course. Make sure that you leave your opinion as always, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.